Dylan's Delightful Dungeon. Yeah! Hello everybody, this is Dylan's Delightful Dungeon. We're doing a throwback to Civilization Revolution. So this game has recently become backwards compatible on the Xbox One. And I just wanted to touch back to it. It's definitely a game I put a lot of time into. So we'll see just how good it looks so far. Definitely not disappointing. It obviously wasn't the most graphically astonishing game of its time, but it doesn't look like it has any issues. It has the 1.9 gig cloud save. Shouldn't need much of that for these files. Very small in terms of save file size. So let's get into it. So this was a fun game for me. I had played quite a bit of Civilization beforehand, before I got into Civilization Revolution, but I think as far as console games went, this game definitely made it easily accessible to a new player to the Civilization franchise. I still have not played Civilization 6, sadly, but I've put hundreds and hundreds of hours into, 3, 4, 5, including this game. I put probably at least 100 hours into this game when it was out on the 360, so it's kind of fun to see this come back to the Xbox world. I like this style. You don't see a lot of turn-based games. This was definitely a spot filler for me after games like Gladius and such on the original Xbox. And this week's been pretty big for backwards compatible games as a whole, so I just wanted to touch on that. We got this as backwards compatible this past week. We also have the Black Ops series, which is huge on the Call of Duty franchise. So I just wanted to kind of touch on, what might be coming next. Seeing these kinds of backwards compatible games, does it bring new players into the market? Does it maybe rekindle some of those old fires? Use these as stepping stones? We're going to see more of these types of games in the future. These are all things we can ask. It's definitely clear that the 360 had some solid games, so I mean it just makes sense to bring them back. You see things like this happening in the PlayStation. It's been happening for a while. They just came out with they're coming out with the Insane trilogy for the Crash Bandicoot series. You have games in the Nintendo world that are continuously being released for rebuy, that sort of thing. So it only seems natural that Xbox finally jumps over to that world. It's nice to see it. It'll be interesting to see if we get any more big titles like they did when they released the Master Chief Collection. If we're gonna get, if we're gonna have to just stick to some not smaller but less versatile games on the 360 compatibility standing. We'll see, but games like this, always fun to play. Civilization Revolution, would love to see a new one. I feel like it incorporated the points of Civilization that I like so much into a game that was easily accessible for new players and still fun for players that have been with the franchise for a while. That being said, there are games such as that came out recently, like Darksiders. We'll be doing a video on that shortly. Another great game from the 360 era, and I don't ever hate on them releasing games such as that on the 360. I just feel like it gives me, I've had that break, and I can go back into playing them and get just as much fun out of them as I did the first time I did playing them. So hopefully they keep that up, but it'd be definitely nice if these were just stepping stones in the grand scheme and we actually could get some sequels, some trilogy wrap-ups, that sort of thing. Only time will tell. But until next time, this is Dylan's Delightful Dungeon, signing off.